We only get to know somebody when we are at proximity with them. Self-reflection is how many times do you meet yourself? Because one of the ways of knowing who you are is frequent meetings with yourself. I keep saying that marriage is for givers and forgivers. Did you get that? It's for givers, those who are to give like to issue out, and forgivers like to forgive one another. If you're not planning to give and you're not planning to forgive, you should not plan to get married. What you do not know is your greatest disadvantage. And sometimes we cannot, it's called ignorance. We cannot blame people for not knowing what they are supposed to know. Let me give it some context.
Good day, good people. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're catching this conversation from. Welcome to Sukibe YouTube Conversations, where we hold authentic conversations to help us live better lives, make impact, and keep growing. So Susan Kibe is a born again, is a lover of Jesus, a wife, a mom, an emotional wellness coach, author, entrepreneur. I'm all that and more. But today that is not why we are here. We are here because we have an amazing discussion coming up, and I want to say thank you for the support and the engagement in the previous conversation. So I'm not alone in studio. I'm joined by an amazing guest, a brother, I would call a senior brother. I have wanted to have him here for I don't know how many months, but this is the day that the Lord has made.
It finally came.
It finally came. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much,
You're
Susan.
welcome.
Thank you for having me. The day has finally come.
The day is here.
We have kept postponing, man. We need more than 24 hours a day.
We are
But
here.
I'm so happy to be here at the
Karibu.
Claim Your Crown. You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
I mean, this is a YouTube channel that people who want to improve their lives should consider subscribing so that they always get an alert
Amazing.
when there is a new episode.
Asante.
Somebody was telling me that the next billionaires are going to come from AI
Ish.
and also from emotional wellness. They were trying to say that it's a conversation we need to keep
Yeah,
having,
that's
because
true.
the spaces we are living in right now require a lot of emotional wellness, healthy living, and just having a proper state of mental health. And I'm happy. This is the essence of this
Thank
channel.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Asante sana.
So tell us who you are and what you do.
All right. I am a man that has a coat of many colors. My government names are Dr. Samuel Omondi. I'm born again. I am a pharmacist practicing for 14 years now. But I'm also a pastor. For many years, I've been a minister more than I've been a pharmacist. I am born again. I love the Lord. I am married to one female wife.
Very important.
Important to say. The gender or the sex. These days, mambo ni mengi. And we have one son.
Yeah.
I serve as a pastor in one of the branches of the Ruach Assemblies, where I'm an associate, and I am a champion for relationships, marriages, and family enrichment. I run an organization that is called the Couple Circle. In the Couple Circle, we do 3 things. Number 1, we do a monthly event that is called Singles and the City. This is what I'm wearing, where we empower singles for kingdom marriages. And we are taking singles to consider biblical factors before they get into marriage. Number 2, we do something that's called For This Reason. For This Reason is a premarital enrichment course. It's 14 modules covered over a period of 12 weeks. A module a week, except for the week where we have 2 modules. And we prepare people who have already made up their mind that they want to be a husband and a wife. We prepare them on what to expect, at least for the first 3 years of their marriage, which is something that's very important. And then thirdly, we do just the normal marital counseling. And we support couples that have already been together for a while to have much better experiences. The reason why we began Singles and the City is because during the marital counseling, when working with married people, we see a gap and that gap was that these are things that somebody should have considered premaritally. And so we saw a very big gap among the singles, that singles need more support when it comes to making the marriage decision, and that's why we started Singles and the City. Yeah, so I'm happy to be here, and I'm passionate about relationships, about kingdom marriages, and about wellness in families.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I think you are... I've followed a few of the Singles in the City events, and even from the feedback that we get afterwards. Because you see, there's a lot that probably is discussed that maybe in a Christian setup you'd think we are not going to discuss, or it is not going to be part of the topics on the table, you know. And those are the same things that are ailing us in relationships, in marriages, and I'm glad that we get to do it earlier, premaritally. Yeah, so you're doing a good job, and we're cheering you on.
Thank you.
Yeah, so today I wanted us to have a discussion on relationships, which is your strength, and for the sake of this conversation, you're Pastor Doc. You know, many people don't know why
I was coming to that.
Amazing, because people don't know why we call you Pastor Doc.
Yeah, so that's why I started by saying my government names.
Yes.
But my brand is Pastor Doc, and it's just because I'm a pastor and a doctor. Where I'm pastoring, people wanted to honor both offices.
Yes.
So some used to call me Pastor Samuel, others used to call me Dr. Samuel, others used to call me Pastor Dr. Samuel. It was a mouthful. So it just mutated from Pastor Dr. Samuel Omondi to Pastor Doc. It works. It almost feels like Rigiji, you know, because I mean, it's just, you say it, and I mean, if you come and say you are looking for Samuel Omondi, it will be hard to find me.
Yes.
But if you come and say you are looking for Pastor Doc, you'll be told, say no more. Yeah, so that's how I am known on the socials and also in the spaces where we have this conversation. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So let's dive right into this conversation. You talked about what you do, and at least you encounter you on both sides. Singles, married, those who are starting, those who've been there.
And in between.
Situationships.
Others don't know whether they are single or they are married or they are on the waiting bay.
Or they are waiting. They have no idea. And so before people get to all those levels, there's something that we need to talk about: self-awareness. What is the importance of self-awareness? Because sometimes, like singles, because even me, I've been there before I got married, and I had a period of time when we call it the waiting season. And I'm telling you, there is nothing that can confuse you like that season. My friends normally laugh when I told them I almost became a certain bishop's wife. Mrs. Bishop. Meanwhile, the Mrs. Bishop would have been counterfeit marriage loading.
Oh, yeah.
Because at the point when God speaks, counterfeit pia inatokea. Vile you'd think what you want. So self-awareness is key. What is the point of self-awareness in a relationship?
That's a good question. I'll begin answering that question by defining what I think marriage is. I think it's important for us to say that the basic purpose of dating or being romantically involved with any person as a single, the objective should always be marriage. If you are in any relationship whose objective from both parties is not marriage, you're in a situationship. It doesn't matter how you explain it. You can't be with somebody for fun. You can't be with somebody for commerce. You can't be with somebody for enterprise. You can't be with somebody to keep up with the Joneses. I need to be romantically involved with somebody to examine the possibility of us becoming a husband and wife. That should be very clear from the onset of the relationship. If somebody takes you on a date or two, or you go on a date or two, it's very important to try and figure out what's the direction of this conversation. And even before I go to the definition, the reason why I normally say that is because what's the life expectancy of Kenya? It's around 67 years. It means that majority of people who die at 67. The people who die before and die after are simply outliers. let's assume that God is going to give you 100 years to live. Forget about the life expectancy. Now, I want you to think about a post-campus person, young professional in their first job. They have just graduated and been employed. This is a person that is around 24, 25, 26. Let's even take the middle ground, 25. Assuming that this person is going to live for 100 years, it means they have 75 years to live. Now, at 100 years, you're not going to be productive, neither at 90 or 80. Let's give it up to 75 really and say, okay, fine, you'll be productive up to 75, but you'll be alive up to 100. So this person simply has how many years? 50. Because when you take the last 25 years, they are not productive. They're already 25. So they have 50 years to make sense out of their life. And you can imagine the amount of resource that we put into relationships in terms of time, in terms of emotion, in terms even of money with somebody with whom we are not going anywhere close to marriage. You're going to waste your time. So I normally say, first of all, before even you think about dating, you have to remember that you have no time to waste. And the more you grow, the more responsibilities become more career-wise, purpose-wise, which we will talk about shortly, and also in terms of your marriage. So you have no time to waste. That is why it has to be very clear from the onset that for me, I am getting into the market or into the game to get married. If the conversation will not be about marriage, then regardless of what the person does, how much they have, the places they go, I am not going to be interested. So that's number one. Dating is for marriage, period. You can call it dating, you can call it courtship, you can call it knowing one another, you can call it whatever you want to call it. But the objective should be marriage. That's number one. What's the definition of marriage according to Pastor Doc? It is an opportunity that God gives you to live with somebody of the opposite gender for the rest of your life, knowing them, learning them, forgiving them, and loving them.
Whoa.
The reason I'm saying that is because, Sue, it's a lie to say that at the point of the wedding, on the wedding day, that you got married to that person because you knew them. I want to tell people today that when couples are getting married on the wedding day, it is not because they know that person very well.
True.
They just know them enough. They have ticked the right boxes, which are indicators that this person may be a good spouse. You can't get married to somebody that you know and you have met that person and dated for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. I mean, you met when you were 26, you got married when you were 28. This person has lived 26 years without you. And there are some total of where they have come from. What makes you think you will know them on a weekly 4-hour date is impossible. We only get to know somebody when we are at proximity with them and when we are vulnerable to them, and that is the marriage context. And therefore, guys who are planning to get married should know I've made a decision to get married to this person because they have checked the most important boxes, but not because I know them very well. You can never know a human being. It is impossible. You can know a little bit because there are some things that you know from what they tell you, and there are some things that you know by living with them. So marriage then becomes the discovery of the other person. And as you discover the other person in their good or in their bad expressions, you love them and you forgive them. I keep saying that marriage is for givers and forgivers. Did you get that? It's for givers, those who are to give like to issue out, and forgivers like to forgive one another. If you're not planning to give and you're not planning to forgive, you should not plan to get married. Forgiveness is so important because there are things about my future spouse that I will only get to know when I've already tied the knot. So will I walk out? Will I step out? I should learn how to forgive. Now, why am I saying that? It's because in marriage, I am going to be discovering who the other person is. I'm going to be I'll be getting to know them. But wait a minute. I am getting into the marriage to discover the other person, to know them, to love them and forgive them. Do I know myself? So I cannot get into a journey of trying to know the other person and I do not know who I am. One of the easiest ways of making relationships and marriages and families to work is when the spouses first work on knowing who they are before working on knowing who the other person is. Because if I know who I am, I can live in any situation. That's very important. I once had a billionaire investor in Kenya saying he's one of the top 5 richest guys, dollar billionaire in Kenya. I think he's in energy and construction and cement and so on. He said, if you take him today and you put him in a desert in Paraguay, only with his passport, his ID, and a place to sleep, he will produce the same thing he has produced in Kenya. Because he knows himself. And he is not, in as much as he lives in an environment, he is not defined by what is happening to him or in the environment that he is. He knows himself so well that he can be able to adjust in any situation that he is in because he understands it and he understands himself. Marriage is a discovery of the other person, but we cannot be discovering the other person and ourselves. We don't know who we are. Therefore, self-awareness is a very important aspect of premarital life. You know, there's a problem with human beings, and it's a natural problem of thinking that we are the center of everything and everything should be around us and about us and about what we want and what we desire. I talk to very many single people, Sue, and if you ask them, you're planning to get married? Yes. So what characteristics would you like to get from a spouse? And they give you a whole list. Financially stable, tall, dark and handsome, so should smell well, should be on an upward trajectory career-wise and so on, man of God, spirit-filled, goes to church, no problem. Those are good characteristics. But the question is, does the person with that kind of profile deserve somebody like you?
Hey.
Would God give that person you as an answer to their prayer? So I keep telling single people, do not give a list of what you are looking for from somebody. Become that list. Work on yourself so much that if somebody is praying to God for a spouse, God will say the person this man or woman is praying for is this one over here. Many times we know what we want of others, but we do not want to become what others would want of us. And so self-awareness is one of the ways you can be able to prepare yourself for the other person. You need to know yourself. You need to know what triggers the way you behave, what triggers the things that you feel, what triggers your behavior and your responses and your actions around people, both actions and reactions and so on. So long story short, self-awareness is very important premaritally. For a simple reason, I must know myself before I start a journey of knowing another person. Very important.
You know, as you talk about it, it seems like it's very easy. You know, it comes out like it's easy. But why do you think we don't find people taking it seriously? Is it in, I don't want to do the work, to put in the work? Because I believe it's a lot of work. For me to be able to match the list that I am presenting, that means I have to deal with whatever. Is it anger? Is it, do I need to start working? Because I cannot be looking for somebody who has a, I don't know what, a chopper and whatever, how many zeros on their salary. Meanwhile, I'm not working. So is it an element of, I don't want to use a harsh word. Is it we don't want to work on ourselves?
Okay.
Or is it that some people genuinely don't know?
You know, what you do not know is your greatest disadvantage. And sometimes we cannot, it's called ignorance. We cannot blame people for not knowing what they are supposed to know. Let me give it some context. If you look at our traditional Kenyan or African culture 50, 60 years ago, if we are to examine how people would get married, do you know there are people who used to meet for the first time on the wedding night? It's even in the Bible. If you look at the traditional African culture, Arabic culture, Jewish culture, we didn't have this thing of dating. It was families agreeing that we have a daughter, we have a son, we have agreed that they will get married, do the transactions or the ceremonies, and they are done. And those marriages, if we are to look at statistics in terms of length of the marriage, I don't know about in terms of the depth of the marriage,
Yeah.
but in terms of the length of the marriage, they used to stay long, And the reason why that would happen is because half a century ago or 75 years ago, the world had not become a globe. So cultures were very local. There were no visuals on other cultures or other views. So somebody would be born in Meru, will go to Meru Primary, Meru Secondary, will go to Meru College or Polytechnic, then will work at Meru Sacco, then they'll marry from the girl who works the girl who works at the Meru supermarket, and then they will open a kinyozi at Meru shopping center.
Yeah.
So if somebody comes and says there's a place called Turkana, I can't accept it because all my life has been cultured around Meru. So I don't know any other perspectives or any other views. That is not the case today because our parents had very, if you like, little external influence. So if it was getting married, even intermarriage came much later. We used to get married from within the same tribe. So you discover that when now technology came and the world became a globe because of connectivity and because of technology and because of telephone and so on and TV and so on, other cultures started getting into our perspectives. And therefore, all of a sudden, a single person who is looking to get married is not just influenced by the people, the culture around this person, they are also influenced by perspectives from other cultures. And that is why eventually things have moved from being fixed for a spouse to things like dating and courtship and so on. People call it westernization. I believe part of it is true, but it was a mitigant against the encroaching foreign or imported cultures, if you like. Now, because the world has become a globe today, a single person has a lot of knowledge about relationships and marriage, but from very many sources. From very, very many sources. Atheists have their view, Hindus have their view, Muslims have their view, Christians have their view, secularists have their view. So sometimes somebody wants to syncretize the good views from each of those worldviews to determine how they will get into their relationship or into their marriage. So now what happens is people begin to look for I started by saying that what you do not know is your disadvantage. So people have so much knowledge to consider, and if you are not at a place where you know who you are, you are going to be defined by all these circumstances. I'm trying to get it out now. That said, it simply means that self-awareness, what I was driving to is this. Self-awareness was not a requirement 50, 75, 80, 100 years ago. Because the influence of the singles that day was just from within the culture. But now today, we have so many cultures and influences that for you not to be influenced by things that should not be influencing you, you should be knowing who you are. So it has become a need in the recent decades, the importance of people knowing who they are, defining who they are, understanding their behavior, understanding their identity, so that they can find footing in a context that has so many worldviews and have so many suggestions. So some people do not know that what they require is self-awareness. They need somebody like in this podcast to tell them there's something called self-awareness. Otherwise, you are going to be approaching your relationship and marriage from a mixture of worldviews and perspectives. When you have self-awareness, and we will talk about it shortly, you have understood who you are. You know your identity. You know your values. You know the things that you can do and you cannot do and why. You know why you behave the way you do and why. You know what will be your reactionary demeanor when you are angry. The first one that you don't even think about, you know it in advance. So you are always aware of who you are, that you can almost predict how you're going to handle or react to a particular circumstance. That's very important to the health of any relationship.
Of a relationship.
Yeah.
And okay, you talked about self-awareness comes with having your identity intact, knowing your values.
Yes.
So that also now translates to
Yes.
helping you to to have boundaries, know what you can take and what you cannot take.
Yeah.
And would you say that would help to mitigate a lot of the chaos? Because if there's an institution that has become chaotic and sometimes can get out of order, is marriage.
For sure.
Because we get the way you're saying, by the time I'm saying I do, I only know I have checked the right boxes as at that time. Then when we get married, we get into the relationship and I'm wondering, this person, was he like this when we were dating? Any mask that was there has fallen off. No, there's nothing to hide, you know?
Yeah.
So would you say that working in self-awareness and having your identity intact will mitigate a lot of the chaos that we are seeing?
Absolutely. There's something in psychology that is called cognitive translucence. Cognitive translucence is thinking that is the idea that every wrong thing that's happening to us is as a result of other external factors except me as the victim. In other words, it's just natural for me to say every bad thing that's happening to me is because of me. We refuse that we have a part to play in our problems or in our chaos or in our issues. We always blame the other person. We always blame the government, the economy, the boyfriend, the girlfriend, the parents, and so on. We don't blame ourselves. But let me tell you, when you have concretized your identity, and many times people confuse what they do to who they are. We are not what we do. We need to know who we are so that it influences what we do. If we get our identity from what we do, we still have not found our true identity. Because what we do not define us. It is our definition that determine what we do. So, to answer your question, I think it's very important for guys to know that self-aware persons are better at solving many of their problems than people who are not self-aware. Because self-aware persons take responsibility. They understand that they are not perfect, that they are flawed. They know their flaws. And when their flaws appear in certain areas of their life, they take responsibility for it. I want to tell you, the chaos that we see in marriages today is because we always think this marriage is like this because of the other person. It is my wife who does not listen to me. It is my husband who is dishonest. We never look at ourselves. But I want you to imagine a situation where the husband and the wife are so much working on themselves, because they have watched a podcast like this or they have come across this topic of self-awareness. They are working so much on themselves. I want you to imagine even the conflict in that particular home, how easy it's going to be for them to handle it. So self-awareness has a way of reducing chaos, not just in marriage, but also in life. You will be able to know even the kind of opportunities that you can't take. People who do not have self-awareness take any opportunity because they don't have identity. If you don't have identity, you can be anything. Somebody will come with a label or a tag and put it on you. It looks good on you as a dress, you take it. Then another person comes and tries to define you. They tell you, you are not supposed to be doing this, you're supposed to be doing the other. But when you fully know yourself, and you have a very strong sense of identity, let me tell you, you are going to be a very easy person to work with, including in a marriage situation. Most of the time, the chaos that we face, I'm not saying that lack of self-awareness is the cause of all this chaos that we see, but it's a big contribution. Couples who know themselves, let me tell you, have a totally different experience when they are solving their conflicts or their chaos compared to those who think that they don't need to know themselves and that it is the responsibility of the other person to give them a good life and problem-free marriage. So self-awareness for sure will contribute to wellness in any relationship and in any marriage. Yeah, and there are different components of self-awareness. One is identity. Who am I? Okay? And if you want to know who you are, just analyze what you do or how you think away from the people who know you.
Wow.
I'm posting so that it sinks.
Yeah.
Who are you when there is no audience?
Oh.
Who are you when the people who know you are not there? You know? That person that shows up when you are not in the company of the people that know you, that is the true person.
Himself.
And that is the person that you need to work on. So sometimes we need to, so there's identity. Let me just finish. There's identity. Number 2, there is self-reflection. Okay, that's the second component of self-awareness. Self-reflection is how many times do you meet yourself? Because one of the ways of knowing who you are is frequent meetings with yourself. There's a book called Let My People Think. I'm forgetting the name of the author. Somebody should go and look for it. How many times do we pull aside to think about ourselves, to think about the things that we do, to think about the motives behind the things that we do? Many of us have never met ourselves because we are afraid of facing the person who in our subconscious we know who they are. Self-reflection has a way of refining your identity. You will look at your motives. You will look at your goals. You will look at your weaknesses and how they affect you and so on, and you will be able to make adjustments. So there's identity, there is self-reflection, and then there is emotional self-awareness. Being in contact with how you feel before you are in contact with how others make you feel. You have to know what are some of the things that determine how you feel, which is the 4th thing. You have to understand the triggers. So there's identity, there is self-reflection, there is emotional self-awareness, and then there is understanding the triggers that determine your behavior. You know, what triggers me to be angry? What triggers me to be happy? What triggers me to be assertive? What triggers me to be sleepless or to be afraid, to have fear and to be worried and so on? If you know where the switches are, I'm telling you, you're going to be a completely different person from somebody who does not know that. And the last component is understanding your value system. You know, your value system are just the things that you know you can't do or you can do, regardless of the environment. Because if your behavior is based on the environment, if it's environmental, then it means you have not concretized your identity. You do not know who you are, because if in this context I behave this way and in another context I behave in another way, I have not concretized my identity. I need to be the same person in all environments. Those are the 4 components. Identity, there is self-reflection, there is emotional self-awareness, there is understanding your triggers, and there is understanding your values, and so on. Yeah.
So now, I know we're about to wind up, but we have talked a lot about people who are preparing to get married or to get into a relationship and the purpose of it. But there's somebody who is already in it. I'm thinking I've been here, so
Yeah.
What would you tell them as you look into that camera as your parting shot? Like somebody who is already there. Maybe they didn't know about the external influences and what you need to consider. And you're just finding yourself hitting your head left, right, and center. What would you tell them?
Wow, I think what I normally tell people who are already in a messed up situation, you're already married and things are becoming tough, you don't know how to handle your conflict and so on. Let me tell you, knowledge is more important than the feelings you have towards somebody. I keep telling guys that love will start a marriage. Knowledge will keep it. Love will never keep a marriage, because even what we call love, it's really not love. It's just attraction, and it's based on many factors, on how you look, on how you smell, on what you tell me. That is not likely to remain the same throughout the marriage journey. You are on top of the attraction and the love that you feel for the other person, you are supposed to invest in knowledge. Now, there are people who are already there and they're asking, what am I supposed to do? I have talked to my husband badly. We argue, we can't communicate, we can't resolve our conflict. I have packed and gone home many times. My husband has packed and left so many times. And those things, they don't help with anything. The thing is this: you can still redeem your relationship if you look at the correct knowledge. And that begins by understanding that if maybe, for example, you're in a conflict situation, you have to understand that the conflict is not abnormal to your marriage. Every marriage has conflict. What has made that conflict to be extrapolated is because you didn't have the right skills or the knowledge on how to handle the conflict. Somebody has always wanted to win the argument, or to conquer their partner, or to conquer their spouse, or to prove a point, and so on. And therefore, you're focused on the politics of conflict resolution instead of solving the problem. You need knowledge. You have to invest in knowledge. And knowledge can come from many places. There are many podcasts these days online. There are many blogs. There are many books. But the most important of all is knowledge of the Word of God, which you can also get processed through mentors. It's actually the Bishop the Bishop David Oyedepo, who said that nothing converts trash into treasure faster than training. You need somebody to train you. You need somebody to show you the do's and don'ts. Treasure can come out of trash very fast if the person is trained. You need people to come and tell you this was wrong, this is how you correct it, and so on. It has some costs because you're already in it, but you have to invest in knowledge. If your marriage is not working, the solution is not to end it, except there are very fundamental issues, but the solution is not to end it. The solution is to repair it. I keep saying that repairing is better than replacement, because even if you replace, if you didn't have an attitude of repair in the previous one, even in this other one, when problems start coming, you will do what? You will replace. Yes. You will not repair. You try to repair first. If it does not work, then you will have to think about whether you are doing replacement or not. So invest in knowledge, look for mentors, let them help you to figure out what is happening. It will take a lot of work, and the results may be good or not, depending on how you approach it. Yeah.
Wow. I can tell you this is not a discussion we can finish. As probably would want to, but I can bet we'll have Pastor Doc here again. And I hope you have learned something. I have learned a lot myself. I deal a lot with self-awareness, emotional awareness, but I've also taken my notes, and I look forward to engaging with you in the comment section. If you have any question, clarification, any concern, as he said when we began, he does counseling for premarital, singles. Even if you are alone, you are thinking, should I get into a relationship or not? He has programs for that. Yeah. Married people, he has programs for that. He has premarital counseling, as in we have solutions. And he said, if you're already in it, it's not working, knowledge. Training will turn trash into treasure.
Yeah.
Hey, hata mimi nimetoka na hiyo leo.
Yeah.
So I look forward to engaging with you next time in the next conversation. So for now, I want you to hit the subscribe button if you have not subscribed. Let us hear your comments. Questions for Pastor Doc, they will reach him, by the way. They will, if you write on the comments. Yeah. And he has an event coming up.
So Singles and the City.
Yes.
It's coming up on 27th
of September.
From 1 p.m. We will be talking about the marriage myths, dismantling the lies. The event is free, but you need to register. Just search for Pastor Doc, or you search for Singles and the City on socials. You will get all that information there. Register. Come, let's have a conversation. We have a wonderful panel of distinguished speakers on this matter, and we have an amazing couple that will be doing the keynote. Let's learn together. 27th of September. It's a Saturday.
What time?
Yeah, from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m.
From 1 p.m.
Yeah, in Ruaka.
Ruaka.
Ruak Rivers Church, Havila Ranch, Ruaka. You'll get the information somewhere there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for engaging with us for this session, and we look forward to hearing from you, getting your comments, questions. Let the conversation keep going. We have to have healthy relationships. And he said, when you get into a relationship, end goal, ni marriage. Ingines sijui company, sijui loneliness, sijui is a lie. So until next time, God bless you.
Amen.
And may God do you well.
Amen. Shalom. Amen.